Hello everyone and welcome to another Star Wars figure review. Today we're going to take a look at some figures from Hasbro's Black Series 6-inch line, and we're going to kick things off today with a real fan favourite. It is of course none other than this guy, Han Solo, and in this instance he is depicted in his Stormtrooper disguise from Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. Now I've got to say, I really do like this figure. One thing to point out is that he is a kit bash of previously released figures, meaning that he utilises parts from those particular toys, and he does come to us as part of the most recent wave of Black Series 6-inch figures. Now in this particular wave there are two brand new figures to collect, and those are of course Han Solo and also Bossk, who I'll be giving you a look at in my next review. Now from what I've read on social media, through my Facebook page, my Twitter feed and my YouTube channel comments, you guys seem to be having a hard time tracking these figures down at retail. Now, as always, there is a link down below in the video description where you can check out our good friends over at staractionfigures.co.uk. And one really cool thing to point out is that at the time of filming this review, these guys are currently in stock and available to buy. So if you are having any difficulty tracking them down and you really want to add these guys to your collection, be sure to visit the link in the video description, as they are available to purchase. And let me tell you, you should definitely add this one to your collection. Now, as I said, I'll be back to give you a look at Bossk in my next review, but in the meantime we are going to take a look at this amazing figure. Now before we do that, as always, we're going to take a look at the packaging that this guy comes in, and once again I've got to say I'm a huge fan of the Black Series packaging. What I really like about this line is the fact that it's presented in a really sleek and professional manner, in the sense that the packaging is very simple but it looks really nice. Now, one thing to point out is, if you guys kept up with any of the coverage from Star Wars Celebration, you will know that the Black Series 6-inch line is due for a packaging makeover yet again. Now, this will come into effect in the fall of 2015, which is obviously to coincide with the release of the Force Awakens products. Now, I've got to say, I like this packaging. It does look really nice, but from what I've seen at Celebration, the packaging that we'll see later on in the year looks absolutely top-notch. And of the three packaging designs that we've seen for the 6-inch line so far, the September release really does look like the best one yet. Now, that's not to say that this packaging isn't very cool, and the figure inside it looks really cool as well. As you can see on this box, we do have a very cool medallion stylized image of Han at the top, as well as the character name and Black Series logo down in the bottom. On the reverse side we have a really cool stylized image of Han in conversation with Luke from the film. We also have a character description and quote, and again the Star Wars logo just at the top. Now again, the packaging is really minimal, really sleek, but it has that professional, almost adult collector feel to it, and I really do like this line. And for the most part I've been pursuing the 6-inch line more than I have the 3 3/4 inch line. So yeah, it's definitely the way forward in terms of action figure collecting. You know, Hasbro really do seem to be pouring more effort into the 6-inch line than they do the 3 3/4 inch line. So for that reason, this is where my money will be going. Now onto the figure itself, and as I alluded to at the beginning of the review, this particular figure is a kit bash of previously released figures. Now you may be wondering where that comes into effect. Well, as you can see, the head is basically the same as the head sculpt that we saw on the Wave 2 Han Solo figure. The only differences are that he has a slightly lighter skin tone, the hair is a little bit darker, and I don't know, the paint applications on this face just seem a little bit more cleaned up and crisp. For the most part though, it is the same sculpt, just with a slightly different paint job, but it looks really, really cool on the figure. Not only that, but the lightness is really well done as well. Obviously it looks a lot like Harrison Ford, which is always good. Now obviously the head is from the Han Solo figure from one of the early waves of the Black Series 6-inch line, but the body itself is from the regular Stormtrooper. Now some adjustments have been made to accommodate the Han Solo head, and that's the neck post. This has been adjusted so that the post will fit inside the head. And as you can see, we also have a removable sort of turtleneck, not so much appliance, but an accessory, which obviously completes the outfit when Han is unhelmeted, and it just looks really cool and completes the look of the figure. Now in terms of accessories, Han does come with these typical E11 Stormtrooper blaster rifle. And one really cool thing to point out about this particular accessory is that Hasbro have added some more detail to it. As you can see, there is a tiny dash of silver paint just above the trigger there, which is apparent on the movie prop, so it's really nice that Hasbro have started to pay a little bit more attention in terms of detail. And as you can see, the second accessory that he comes with is indeed the Stormtrooper helmet. Now, the helmet, in my opinion, isn't the best sculpt. It looks like a Stormtrooper, don't get me wrong, but it's not 100% accurate to what we see in the movie. Obviously, some of the helmets had different length mouthpieces, different shapes around the eyes, so it doesn't really capture the look of the helmet that Han wears in the movie, but that's not to say it doesn't look really cool. What I do like about this particular helmet is that it looks identical to the non-removable helmet featured on the original Black Series Stormtrooper, so you do have that consistency running throughout these figures, which is really good. And you know, it doesn't look too bad at all. As you can see, it's a nice snug fit, really does look good on Han in his Stormtrooper disguise. And if you did miss out on the original Stormtrooper, then this is a great figure to pick up, pop on the helmet, and bam, you've got a regular Stormtrooper. Now, as you can see, once again, the helmet is removable. It is a really nice fit, but it is quite tricky to get Han to hold the helmet. The grip on his hands isn't particularly fantastic, so you do kind of have to rest the helmet against his body, which is a little bit awkward. It makes the pose not look as natural as it should, and it can be quite fiddly to, you know, display on a shelf. But that's the only major setback to this figure. One other issue with it that I would have liked to have seen corrected is of course the hole on the figure's back, which obviously would have accommodated at one point the Sandtrooper backpack from a previous figure. Now I would have liked that if that was filled in, and not quite as evident, but it's not a major deal breaker for the figure, you know, it doesn't detract too much. As you can see, also attached to the belt we have a holster where we can store the E11 blaster rifle. And overall, the just general aesthetic of this figure is really good. He looks fantastic, the head sculpt is awesome, and he just does everything that you would expect a Han Solo in Stormtrooper disguise figure to do. He looks the part, and he's really well articulated as well, so we'll cover that in just a little bit. Before I do, I'll just quickly show you the back of the figure once again. And we'll run through the articulation that this guy has. Now obviously, being a 6-inch figure, he does have a lot more room for posability, and Hasbro really have gone to town on this guy. He has a ton of articulation. Now not only does he have a ball jointed head, but he also has a hinge at the neck so he can look down and up and all around. Real nice range of movement in that head there. And it's nice that the sort of neck brace of the Stormtrooper bodysuit doesn't hinder any of that movement as well. It's really good. He also has hinges at the shoulders. Now some of that posability is hindered by the shoulder plates, but it's not a major issue. You know, you wouldn't really want him to be doing star jumps and what have you. He also has a swivel at the bicep. He has a hinge at the shoulder, or the elbow, sorry. He also has hinges at the wrists. He does have a ball jointed torso. He has ball hinged hips, swivel thighs, double joints in the knees, and double joints at the ankles. So a real nice range of movement on this guy, and just all round a decent figure. I'm really happy to have added this one to my collection, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the review, I'd definitely recommend that you do as well. I was a little bit skeptical about picking him up at first because I really didn't want to get into all the different variants of all these characters. You know, I only really wanted to stick with the main characters from Star Wars with the 6-inch line, obviously due to the inflated price, but I just couldn't resist this guy. He looks amazing, he really is a must-have for the collection, and just all round a fantastic figure. So definitely one that I'd recommend picking up. And again, with that Stormtrooper helmet in place, he really does look like an awesome figure. So again, if you want to add this guy to your collection, you can do so via the link in the video description, Once again, that'll take you to staractionfigures.co.uk where you can purchase this guy for yourself, and hopefully this review has swayed your decision to do so. So that is going to do it for this review on, once again, Han Solo in Stormtrooper disguise from Hasbro's Black Series 6-inch line. I'll be back to give you a look at the second figure from this recent wave next, so stay tuned for that. And as always, I want to thank you for watching, and until next time, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.